Now to Prime Minister Anthony Albanese. And in his victory speech on Saturday, we heard a familiar theme.
It says a lot about our great country that the son of a single mum who was a disability pensioner who grew up in public housing down the road in Camperdown. I grew up in public housing in the inner city of Sydney as the son of a pensioner.
That's just a taste of what we had and what to expect for the next 3 years. Instead of reminding us ad nauseum about his humble origins, he might want to reflect that his government does not have a massive mandate. Labor's primary vote is around 32%, even lower than when it recorded in 2019 when they lost with the Bill Shorten.
It was a government loss primarily. It was a different feel from some elections that Labor has won, like the 72 election, the Hawke election, even the Rudd election. People were doubtful about Labor and they hadn't really got a handle on Anthony Albanese.
So I don't envisage the lower house to be a problem per se, but it will be the Senate where the Greens will have the whip hand. They've won 3 more senators. They have 12. Labor will be able to do nothing without them.
Despite renouncing the Greens, Albanese will be at their mercy in the Senate. And the weekend proved the watermelons are the biggest threat to Labor's traditional heartlands. You only need to look at Labor's Terri Butler, who, despite being a left-wing frontbencher, lost her seat to the Greens in Griffith. But as you heard from Phil Curry, Albanese's position in the House of Reps is secure, given it looks like Labor will form government in their own right. This is what makes the Teal independents the biggest fizzer in this campaign. Take, for example, Monique Ryan, the member for Kooyong, who was quoted in today's Australian. She said, he, Anthony Albanese, will need to give us the assurance that he will provide to us what the electorates that have elected us are wanting. And what we want is effective action on climate change. That's what she said. Well, Dr. Ryan made it clear she would not offer confidence and supply unless Labor adopted more ambitious climate policies. Talk about getting ahead of yourself. The analysts aren't predicting a minority government. And even if they were, Monique Ryan, you and your fellow Teals will be playing ducks and drakes. For all his faults, Albo's been in this game a lot longer than you have.
But I have received and had discussions with the existing members of the Crossbench and received confirmation from Rebecca Sharkey, Bob Catter, Andrew Wilkie, Helen Haynes and Zali Steggall that they would not support any no confidence motions against the government and that they would also, of course, secure supply.
Checkmate. So much for someone's vanity project.
All else remaining equal, if just 3 more pro-climate independents, pro-climate, pro-integrity, pro-gender equity independents are elected, they would be able to hold the party machines accountable and deliver progress on these issues. But it won't be power without a purpose. As Zali Steggall calls it, it'll be the power of balance.
Sorry, Simon, all you've managed to do is rid the Liberals of its climate crusaders. But back to Albanese. What does it say about his judgment that he shares primary responsibility for the loss of one of Labor's safest seats?
He was instrumental in parachuting Christina Keneally into Fowler, and there was a push among his colleagues to get a Vietnamese Australian as a candidate instead of Christina Keneally. Albanese was instrumental in not proceeding with that.
That's Albo's version of diversity for you. As for Daly, the independent who defeated Keneally, she couldn't help smirking when the ABC's Lisa Miller put the Teals in the independent category.
Do you see any similarities between yourself and the Teal independents?
I'm a real independent. The Teal independent have the backing of obviously Simon Holmes. I fund this out of my own campaign. This is a very grassroots community campaign.
And still on Albanese's judgment, what does it say of this impassioned appeal today?
Can I make the point, though, that what we should do is put Australia's national interest first and not attempt to play politics with national security issues.
What, like you've been doing for the last few years?
What we're talking about is not treating China as the enemy. What we need is less tension in the world.
Who would have thought it? Albo demands unity now when he was sniping on the sidelines when in opposition. The modern left and hypocrisy go hand in hand like Labor and budget deficits.